honored to have Colonel Forsyth with us, who is a program manager, PEO, yes. Which means acronym.
Right, Program Executive Officer for our fixed wing programs here at United States Special Operations Command.
Okay, so we're here at Tampa, Florida, and it's really a great event for our warfighters and our military, and of course Colonel Forsyth's an expert in fixed wing platforms. So we're going to ask him just a couple questions. And so Colonel, we'll just begin. If you'd like to say a little bit about your background. I think you mentioned you were from Iowa, maybe a little bit of human interest.
Yes, yeah, I'm from Iowa originally, but commissioned through the University of Michigan's ROTC program back in '91. So have over 26 years of acquisition experience at all levels, program offices, laboratories, and also at the air staff here at Special Operations.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to have you take a look at the camera, and I'm going to ask you some questions here. You know, we've been hearing a lot about renewed interest in anti-jam GPS across many of the fixed-wing SOF fleet. And so my question is, what is the command's plan for acquiring and integrating this important capability?
Well, I would say GPS is certainly important not only to our fixed-wing platforms within Special Operations Command, but also a lot of other terrestrial platforms as well. And not just important to United States Special Operations Command, but the entire Department of Defense. So I'd kind of like to start from there on what the Department of Defense is doing, and then how that's translating into what we're doing.
That's a good point, sure.
So by law, we are required to move to the military code signal here in 2017. Now, the reality is the receivers that can read the military code signals aren't available yet. So what we're doing is, what are things that we can do today to help improve our GPS capabilities in a GPS-degraded environment, but then also be ready for when this M-code capability comes online, which is the true anti-jam, anti-spoof capability that the entire department is moving forward on. So there are a number of things that we're doing. We are putting better antennas on our airplanes today that will help us get better signal-to-noise ratio to ensure that we can, again, get the precision navigation and timing things that we need. And again, those will allow us then, when the new receivers come online, to continue to have enhanced capability to operate in a GPS-challenged environment.
So is there kind of a year that's going to happen? What's the projection?
Well, that's over a number of years. Again, these M-code receivers are going to be coming online over the next 2 to 3 years, and part of our plan is when they are available, how are we going to integrate those on our platform. So again, across our entire fixed-wing platform set, we are moving that direction. Again, a lot of what we do in SOF and certainly on our fixed-wing platforms are provided by the services. So some of these things will come from the service themselves as they upgrade, our service common platforms like the C-130s, and then some of them will come from things that we do. Munitions is another thing that rely on GPS as well. So again, a combination of services and ourselves to get there is something.
Great. Well, excellent, Colonel. I appreciate that. I have, another question. With the service life of the U-28 approaching its end, can you comment on perhaps on the status of the ISR, the Manned ISR aircraft, and how they plan to use this capability in the future?
Right. Well, I would like to make a note here that actually the service life of the U-28 is actually still pretty robust, and so we believe, even though that we're flying that platform quite a bit, that we can get beyond 2030 and beyond. So we're not exactly in a state where, hey, the U-28s will have to stop flying and we need a replacement for them. That said, we are looking at a next-gen manned ISR platform, and really it's focused at, what are capability gaps that the U-28 currently isn't able to address. And those really fall down to range as well as payload capacity. U-28 is a single-engine airplane, so we're looking at bigger platforms to address some of those capability gaps that the U-28 can't address today. And so that analysis is finishing up, and that's going to inform future decisions as we look in 2020 and out on when we need to bring the new capability on.
Okay, great. Well, that's very positive. I appreciate that. You know, with the FAA, of course, you know, issuing new guidance on the use of head-up displays and enhanced forward vision systems. Does the command have any plans for integrating this capability on its MC-130J aircraft?
Well, again, those are great capabilities, again, to help the crew up in the front of the airplane continue to have better situational awareness, especially in terms of like landing and challenged environments and landing. Now that said, right now we are not resourced to provide that capability. We are very interested in that capability, and so as we often do, we work with our service partners on achieving those capabilities. So Air Mobility Command flies the vast majority of C-130Js in the Air Force, and so we're going to be working with them and looking for them to see how they can help get that capability on, not only for AMC but AFSOC as well.
I was just going to say a great thing about being outside, we can swat the flies.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Let's see, actually using the Emerald Warrior exercise, I don't know if you want to digress and talk about that exercise, but as a benchmark for a successful test of wideband high frequency to transmit data, do you see this as a capability the command is interested in maturing beyond the prototype stage?
Well, the answer is absolutely. We're interested in how the results of experimentation and prototypes and how that can continue to add capabilities that meet SOF needs. We have a program called the Airborne Mission Networking Program that spans all of our not only fixed wing but rotary wing platforms, and that is an effort that's getting at a lot of the data needs and comm needs beyond line of sight needs, and so right now HF is not a threshold requirement within that, but we are, given the Emerald Warrior exercise and some of the other things that we've seen, we're investigating, well, what would that look like and what would that take to put on the platform should resources permit us to do.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Well, you know, you've been very nice. I only have one more question.
Sure. Not a problem.
Okay. Great.
Yes.
Currently, SOCOM is working to field a prototype side firing heads-on display, or HUD, on the AC-130D Denver. Can you please give us a sense of how this program is progressing and if this prototype is SOCOM's final choice?
Yeah. So on the AC-130J, we have a requirement for improved crew situational awareness up in the cockpit. Okay, so it's not a key performance parameter, but it is a key system attribute. So right now we do have, as you mentioned, a HUD that we are putting in the cockpit. It's going to be available in time for initial operational capability later this year. Okay. And it's going to meet that initial requirement of just some improved situational awareness for the pilot up in front. There are improvements that AFSOC would like to see in that platform to be able to support things like degraded modifiers, actually doing some programming off of the HUD itself. So we're exploring those as enhancements that we can do in the future on there. And then finally, I would say, as we looked at meeting the requirement of improved situational awareness in the cockpit, we're open to things, in the future, longer term. So potentially, helmet-mounted displays are potentially in the trade space of what we're looking at long term to continue to provide better situational awareness up front. But I would say, again, in summary, the HUD that we've been able to get on there in time is going to meet IOC and meet that initial requirement that we have.
Well, you've been very kind to, I know you're a very busy guy, and to give us a little time. Do you have any final comments about any particular thing at SOCOM, or in regards, of course, the fixed wing area that you're specialized in?
Yeah, what I would emphasize, and what I talk with my team about every day is over the past 15 years that we've been at war, 15 plus years we've been at war, we have been able to really own the skies, okay, and that has allowed us to focus on priorities about better strike, about better ISR capabilities. those sorts of things. We're still going to continue to improve those capabilities, but at the same time, we're now operating in more contested environments, and so we have to be prepared for that in the future. So things we talked about with the GPS, but other survivability technologies are things that we absolutely need to be able to field in a timely fashion in order to allow our operators to continue to execute the missions they do to keep our nation safe.
Well, you know, listening to your questions, you know, just as a final comment, I feel very proud that we have men like yourself who are, you know, basically, you know, keeping our nation and people safe. So, Colonel, I want to thank you very much for your time. It's really been great, and that's it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.